I will never forget a client team meeting I helped moderate, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months ago, whatever it was. We had this whiteboard full of ideas, people nodding in agreement. I'm talking energy that could have powered a small city. You can feel the vibe, right? You've been in those meetings before? But a week later, crickets. No follow up, no deliverables, and worst of all, no ownership from the leadership team. I followed up with this senior leader to find out, hey, how are things after the meeting? And to my dismay, it was like, Jeff, it's back to business as usual. And that moment, it brought a hard truth to light. Meetings don't move the needle. Leaders move the needle. In this episode of the Champion Forum podcast, we're diving into the practical habits, the mindsets, and actions that great leaders like you take after the chairs are all pushed back into the boardroom, back into the conference room, the Zoom call ends. If you want to turn good meetings into real momentum, this episode's for you.
This is the Champion Forum podcast with Jeff Hancher, the forum for leaders, champions, and dreamers.
What if you could change someone's life and strengthen your business at the same time? The skilled labor shortage is real, but the solution is closer than you think. At the Trade Institute of Pittsburgh, we don't just train workers, we transform lives. TIP provides hands-on vocational training, equipping individuals who have faced barriers to employment with the skills and confidence to succeed. These aren't just students, they're our future workforce, ready to work and eager to contribute. As a business owner, you need reliable and skilled talent. At TIP, we're training the workforce of tomorrow, and you can be a part of that solution. By hiring a graduate, partnering with our program, or making a contribution, you're not just filling jobs, you're changing lives, strengthening communities, and investing in the future of your industry. Join the movement. Visit tipgh.org or call 412-243-2970 to learn how you can support the Trade Institute of Pittsburgh, whether by hiring, donating, or mentoring. Let's build something that lasts.
Welcome back, everyone. Hey, listen, before we jump into this very, very important topic, I want to highlight, maybe you have heard me talking about this book launch if you follow me on social media, but I don't think I've talked about it a whole lot on the podcast. We got a book coming out. The very first Jeff Hancher book is coming out, Firm Feedback in a Fragile World. I want to highlight this for our podcast listeners. We are in pre-sale mode. We are in full book launch mode here at Jeff Hancher Enterprises. I want to bring you this exclusive bonus opportunity for anybody that pre-orders the book. I don't want you to miss out on the free bonuses for everybody that orders ahead of time. Here's what you're going to get when you purchase the book as a pre-order. You're going to get an exclusive interview. This is an interview, one that I really share my heart behind the book. I share insights from Firm Feedback in a Fragile World. Why did I write the book? How is it going to impact the leaders of the world today? Really revealing how leaders can master this art of critical feedback through clear expectations, accountability, emotional intelligence. And really, this interview is designed to help that viewer discover practical strategies to overcome leadership blunders like miscommunication. But what we want to do here is build high-performance culture and drive lasting success. That's what comes in this exclusive interview. But also, if you pre-order just a single copy of the book, you're also going to get the leadership playbook that comes with that single copy. This is my customized Leadership Essentials playbook. And this playbook provides you with a very practical framework for delivering feedback that inspires accountability and it inspires development. By doing this, what we're doing as leaders is we're focusing on clear communication while maintaining very high standards and strengthening emotional intelligence. This playbook is going to help you navigate the difficult conversations that every leader must face, but it's going to help you navigate them with confidence. It's going to help you equip yourself to foster this culture of growth that we're all trying to do. It's going to help you reduce turnover and elevate your team performance. And lastly, the third and final bonus is becoming a part of my launch team. It would mean the world to me if you would be a part of the launch team to get firm feedback in a fragile world out to the leadership masses. If you join this, we're going to give you kind of the cutting edge of content that's coming out around the book. The bonuses that are coming, the giveaways that we're doing, the live Q&As that we have on the docket. This would be something that would mean the world to me. So we're going to give you kind of the behind the scenes look of everything, but you can help me by becoming an ambassador and being a part of the launch team. Here's all you do. You go to firmfeedbackbook.com. You purchase your book. You put in the receipt number in the link. It's pretty simple. Step 2. Once you fill out step 2, all of the bonuses come to you the week of June 17th, which is the launch of the book. I hope you can help me in this way, and I would love to get this book in your hands to help you on your leadership journey. All right, enough about the book. Let's dive into today's show content. Let me ask you this. You've all been there, but have you ever put so much effort into a team meeting, a kickoff meeting, just to have that motivation after the meeting fade away quickly? It's like everybody's fired up, everybody's fist bumping, chest bumping, the music's playing, everybody's ready to run through walls. And then a week later, it's like business as usual. The music fades and everybody's just back into their ho-hum. There's so much effort that's put into these team meetings, isn't there? I mean, there's a lot of capacity that it takes to put on a great team meeting. Even if it's just a general monthly, team call, there's some effort that goes into that, or at least there should be. The energy's good at this meeting. The motivation is high at the meeting. But then the day-to-day happens. It's inevitable. It happens. And it seems like everybody just kind of goes back into their own thing, and it's business as usual. Listen, I'm the person that's usually hired to come see these types of meetings. My job is to go into these meetings and oftentimes create a spark, whether it's with some training, whether it's with a keynote. I kind of get to be the fly on the wall. And I love doing this for current customers, especially the people that I coach on an executive level, because I get to be in the room, meet the people, get a real feel for the culture. And I typically follow up from whoever my contact would be 30 days post-meeting. I just want to check the linkage. How's things going? Did anybody implement anything from the training? Did you see something different change from a result of the keynote? And I can tell you the story is almost always the same. The spark is gone. It's gone. Now, look, there's something to be said. I don't think it's like we can all stay at adrenaline rush every single day of our life, but for it to be totally gone, there's a better way. There is a better way. I've begun meeting with senior leaders prior to these events that I go to try to combat against this. My goal in life is not to generate invoices, although they're great. My goal in life is to create impact. I don't want to just swoop in, fly in, do a quick thing and a training, a keynote, and fly out and get everybody, goosebumps on their arm. I'm here to make and create lasting change. So I start meeting with these senior leaders. It's a best practice that I do now. Prior to these events, I want to equip them with some mindset and some strategy to ensure that there's some staying power and that the content of the meeting and the content that I'm delivering is integrated into their culture. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be a multiplier in life. And there's a framework that goes into this that I think is a best practice. And there's a host of reasons that this kind of lethargic, ho-hum behavior happens after these meetings. And look, here's one of them. There's a leadership gap between talk and action. And look, I don't hate you. I love you. Matter of fact, that's why I jump in this studio, because I want to equip you, but you got to hear my heart here. We got to bridge this gap between leadership talk and leadership action. Meetings are just the starting line. They're not the finish line. We can't get to the end of a meeting, sigh a breath of relief that we got through it. I would tell you, at the end of the meeting, that's when it really begins. The meeting was to set the tone and set the stage. Now's not the time to celebrate a great meeting execution. Now is the time to think about how are we going to execute on everything that we just talked about. Many leaders, they mistake a good meeting for momentum. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled into this. Real execution happens at the conclusion of the meeting. That's a fact. That is an absolute fact. And that is a mindset that we need to adopt. There is a high cost of no post-meeting plan. What is that? Well, you're going to have misalignment. You're going to have some people still riding a high and some people that aren't. You're going to have leadership wondering, why are we not doing what we said we were going to do? And meanwhile, the rank and file, they're looking for some level of direction. What results? Well, you got drop balls. You got loss of trust. Leadership talked a good game in the meeting, but nothing's happening. All of these things start to take place, and this will ruin your leadership credibility. If clarity dies after the meeting, guess what else dies? Accountability dies. We can't allow that to happen. So what do you do about it? I don't believe anybody is listening today that's like, look, what I love is having a great meeting and then everything unraveling and falling apart. Nobody feels that way. Nobody ever sets out to do that intentionally. So I'm going to give you some quick bullet points of things to consider and think about the next time you're preparing for the meeting, having the meeting, but more importantly, what happens after the meeting. Here's a couple things to consider. Send a very concise meeting recap within 24 hours of the conclusion of the meeting. Remember, now's not the time to rest. What I recommend that you do in this is highlight key decisions that were talked about in the meeting, action items that were talked about in the meeting. Who's owning these action items? What are the due dates? Think SMART goal, right? Clarity eliminates confusion. When you send a concise meeting recap within 24 hours, we're on it. Everybody's still riding the high, but now it's time to execute. It's very important that you assign ownership, not just tasks. Because here's what happens a lot of times in those meetings. A bunch of great ideas come out. People are up presenting. What do you think? We're innovating. We're creating new ideas to policy, whatever it might be. You have to assign ownership. Make sure that each item that you talked about in the meeting has a who, not just a what. These meetings are great at creating what's. I'm challenging you as a leader to create the who. Who are the people that are going to support it? Who's going to own it? And set quick check-in points. This is where leadership thrives. This is the inspect what you expect. Don't wait until the next big meeting, kickoff meeting, quarterly meeting, whatever it might be. Don't wait for the next thing. Schedule very quick touch points or quick status updates to keep the momentum alive. Look, if you do this perfectly, you're not going to capture all of it. But if you just let this thing fizzle, you're literally wasting time and money, and you're destroying your credibility as a leader. Have these decision logs. A journal maybe from the meeting. Keep a running document that, think Google Documents, right? A living, breathing thing that everybody can see. They can track progress. This is a running document of key decisions that were made at the meeting, why they were made at the meeting. Here's what this does. It starts to build continuity, helps new team members, get up to speed. There's going to be people that come into your organization that weren't at that big last meeting. Now you can help foster them as part of their onboarding of this is the living, breathing document. This is what came as a result of the meeting. This is where we are in the progress. These are the owners of said tasks. Now we have something substantial to get our teeth into and really make progress. And listen, as a leader, make it personal. Follow up personally with these key contributors from these meetings. It could be a quick call. Y'all know how much I love videos. Love videos. Send somebody a video. However you want to make that communication to those key contributors, the who's that we're talking about, what we're doing with these follow-up, these personal touches, is we're reinforcing the importance, and what we're doing is we're building buy-in. We're saying, look, I believe in you. I'm glad that you're captaining this initiative, and I'm here for you. I believe in you, and thank you. The other thing that we want to do is start to celebrate progress. As you start chipping away at these milestones, Celebrate publicly. I'm talking get the confetti cannons out and ready to launch. Acknowledge early wins. Any forward motion that you have in your next touch point, one-on-one debrief, next little team huddle, whatever it might be, celebrate that. Look, even in an email, if something happens, shoot it out in an email. Hey, wanted to celebrate a quick win. When you do this, you are reinforcing accountability. You're telling the team, I haven't lost sight of this. So not only are you reinforcing accountability, but you're doing it in a positive way by celebrating progress, which also does what? It boosts morale and it rallies the troops. The other thing that great leaders do post-meeting, and anytime, quite frankly, is ask for feedback on the meeting itself. We don't get to decide if this meeting was worthwhile. We don't get to decide if this meeting was a good investment of time. This is where we need to benchmark who was attending the meeting and get feedback. Hey, team, was the meeting useful to you? What was most useful? What was least useful? This helps you improve meeting structure moving forward, as well as post-meeting execution. Model urgency. This is what we need to do post-meeting. This was not a field trip. This was not a vacation, away from the ho-hum of the day kind of thing. Model urgency as a leader. Create a culture where follow-through is the norm. People expect it. I'm a leader that walks it out. We don't just have meetings for the sake of having meetings. We have meetings for the sake of execution. But don't do it so much that people are drowning in stress, because then they're going to resent these meetings. Hey, everybody, good news. We have a meeting coming up. Oh, gosh, this would be a good time to turn in my 2-week notice. Every time I come back from a meeting, I'm buried for weeks. I can hardly breathe. As leaders, we have to find this balance. And I'm here to tell you it can be done. I want to give an unbelievable shout out to one of my clients, Ian Murphy, who is the president of Scientific Hair Research. I just came back from one of their quarterly business reviews, a company-wide type meeting, and out in Los Angeles. And I got to tell you, this team is doing it right. This leadership core is doing well with this. I've been working with Scientific Hair Research for nearly 5 years now. So I get the leadership. I get the culture. I mean, look, there's been tons of change. There's been acquisitions. You name it. Life is not easy street at Scientific Hair. Don't believe the hype. But man, they're pushing through the challenges. They've incorporated these quarterly business reviews into their strategy, at some prompting. And they ran with this thing. They've incorporated this into their strategy, and they have elevated the culture and professional development of their team members in a profound way. And by the way, I referenced this. This is two different. They are just fresh off of an acquisition. If you've been through an acquisition, you know what kind of challenge that is. Two cultures colliding, two trains coming down the track, and man alive, the integration. You could see it. It was built around this QBR. I was able to attend their last meeting in LA, and I got to tell you, I was so impressed, so much so I'm highlighting it on the episode today. They had the entire team involved. Everyone had a chance to present something based off of their function, their department. They even had walk-up music. I mean, this was amazing. They had, Sally's coming up next. She's going to talk to us about this. They had somebody from the team, not the senior leadership, somebody from the team introduce the next speaker. And as soon as their name was called, they had, somebody on the team, not a hired DJ, ready to go with the playlist. And the person speaking got to pick their own walk-up song. And here comes the music. And they would come up, and the entire organization would come alive. There was clapping, there was dancing. I mean, there was energy in the room. It was a room that you wanted to be in. The room was engaged. The environment was electric. You could feel it. But here is where it went from motivational field trip, time away from home, to real world execution. They had a dedicated person in the room. Their function of being in the room was creating notes about presentations, action items from each presentation, dialogue, questions that would come up, best practices that would come up. man, they would be writing it down. Shout out to Marty, by the way. Marty, if you're listening, you did an amazing job with this. And Marty, this was his role. And Marty was relentless in the best of ways. Man, if somebody brought up an idea and everybody agreed this is what we should do, he would not let the meeting continue until he knew the who, the what, the where, the when, and the why. And he had these, I think, big Post-its on the wall. They were, I mean, it didn't look pretty, but you want to talk about effective? Man, we had parking lot items. We had, action items assigned to who, by when. Like, it was there. And Marty's taking pictures of all of this stuff. He's creating after action reports. I was blown away at this, and the team was all in. The SHR team, they not only left motivated, but they left with clear action steps of execution. Now, this makes the time that they spent 2 days. That's an investment of time, not to mention the financial investment. But all of this makes all of that worthwhile. Not to mention, the team certainly has great respect for their senior leadership. It was very clear because they saw this as a deposit, not just a place to go where there's palm trees and beautiful water. I'm here to tell you, this is possible. What happens in your culture after a meeting? Are people confused or are they clear? Here's the truth. Great meetings don't move the needle. They don't. They might be a shot in the arm at best. Great execution moves the needle. The real leadership begins after the meeting ends. It's in the follow-up. It's in the accountability. It's in the one-on-one discussions that we need to have. And it's in the relentless pursuit of clarity that comes after the meeting. So here's my challenge to you. After your next meeting, don't just check the box. Lead beyond that meeting. Lead beyond the room. Send the recap, make the calls, clarify the who, and the when, and the what, and the why. Find yourself a Marty. Find yourself an Ian Murphy. Let that person step up and take charge after the meeting ends. Make it unmistakably clear that in your culture, meetings are not just talk. They're launch pads for action. That's what separates managers from movement makers. Be a movement maker. And your team? Yeah, they're watching. So let's give them something worth following. Until next week, keep an eye on the execution and keep turning that pressure into potential.
The Champion Forum Podcast with Jeff Hancher. Lead, inspire, win.